Welcome back to the channel, friends. I've gotten a connection to get free IBC totes. These are the 275 gallon ones. Now I would prefer the 330s, and per the internet the only difference between these 275s and 330s are the height. They are the same footprint, but the 330s are about 8 inches taller. And to me it's just a easy, simple way of storing firewood. It's easy to move it around if you have a machine. Now I have a skid steer loader, so that does make it easy for me to move these around. Another thing I have tried, and I'll show you that, we're gonna go over. A lot of people say, will a 275 hold a complete third of a cord? Well, it. All right, I didn't think you needed to hear me cut all this. So what I essentially done, I'll show you. I cut the face off of the tote. And what that does, that makes it where it's easy to put the wood in there, and it's easy to dump it out with your loader once it's dry. You'll see how we reinforce this later. I'm sure you've seen plenty of people on YouTube how they do it. I pretty much do it the same way. So I'm going to use my 2 top bars instead. What I like to do, because they already have hardware built into them, so I'll take 2 of these because I'm going the long way now. I'll cut this end off and this end off of that one, and I'll drill 2 new holes about halfway. Put me a bar right across the middle right there to keep the sides from being flimsy and falling out. It's a lot easier to cut this up if you lay it on the ground like I did. Now you see what I did to that cage? I laid it down. I cut those bottom feet off, made me a riser. I cut the bars in between and made another riser. Then the very top of the thing, see it has the boulder lip on it. I leave the legs on it, you'll see why. This will go on the back. So we take one and put it here. And then I'll take the other and set it up here the same way. There's 2 sides. We'll get one right here. So let me just put this here. These things are really strong too. That looks good. Connection. But that right there is really stout. Let me get one more. It clamps like I do for nothing. That is a cheap way to go. Look at that. Let me back you up so you can see how violent I can get with that. That ain't going nowhere. Okay, cut that off camera so you didn't have to hear all that noise. All right, there's both sides. Remember, it was this. So I cut this off both sides. There's the leftover. You'll wind up with something that looks like this now. Now we come to the back. And we're going to lay it right in here. And it's going to fit right in here like this. Okay, now you can see what I did with that back piece. I kind of came around and put it on the outside on this end. Let it kind of fit together, put a band clamp right here. And then I came around to this side and put it on the inside with a band clamp right in the corner. How sturdy is it? I can sit there and shake the whole thing with my hand. It's not going anywhere. The ruler out. Right, here we go. Got the ruler out. We are 48 inches tall. All right, friends, I got that top bar connected. You see how that works out there? I use a couple carriage bolts to tie those together. And that keeps the sides of the cage from flexing out when the wood goes in it. See that band clamp there? You could use other methods of connecting all this stuff together. You don't have to use pipe clamps, or whatever you call them, hose clamps. You could use 1/4-inch carriage bolts. I got a lot of those. They're pretty inexpensive. I think I mentioned that before on my way. Pretty much just to show you the whole idea, the concept of taking what you cut off the front and repurposing it to make a riser to turn a 275 IBC into a 330. That's all you're doing. So when you deploy this method, this is all the scrap you're going to have left over. That's all you got left over right there. I have over here, I got to take my mom a load of wood. It is exactly 8 foot long from here to here and 4 foot tall, a little over 4. Oh. Ruler on the floor. There's 4 foot. As you can see, that pile is at or above 4 foot tall. And we're going to hook to one side here and pull across. And you can see that we're just a touch wider than 8 foot. Couple, 2 or 3 inches there. All right, here we go. We'll do a time lapse of putting a 1/3 of a cord in this IBC. And I've actually got a little bit of room left. See, I got the back level full. I could get a little bit more in that front. And you can see I'm stacking it in the middle right there. So if I fill one of these IBCs up like this and sell it for a 1/3 of a cord, you're actually getting a little bit more than you're paying for. So what I'm going to do now, friends, is I'm going to back the truck up and I'm going to let you see me dump this. This will be the first time I've ever attempted to dump an IBC. So this is going to be raw. I'm not going to do a double take. You're going to get to see it in action. We're going to see if it works. Friends, keep in mind that was my first time dumping into a truck like that, so don't judge me too harshly. But you can see I put a pallet up here to protect my back window. I didn't do too terrible of a job. I kind of got that front to fall up in here. I'll take and move this around by hand here, but not too terribly executed. I'm not sure I want to be doing that to other people's vehicles. This is an old beater I bought just to do firewood. So I want just to show you what I did here, friends. Now what I will do myself, I just put these little ratchet straps on both sides to hold it on there, keep it from falling off the forks. I haven't really seen anyone putting risers on the IBCs like this. So I think it is a smart way to utilize that extra material left over if you're doing the open face method, which I think is smart because you really don't need this. A lot of people just cut it halfway down and they just want to reach in and grab it out because you're just going to set this IBC up beside your house or at your shop. You don't plan to do like what I did, you know. So this method probably isn't for you, but for all the people that's doing the open face method, I think this is an excellent way to utilize that material that you cut off. I know this whole video is about modifying a 275 to a 330, But let's see just how much of this will fit in the 275. For old time's sake, it wouldn't be much of a video if I didn't compare the two methods side by side. Was an entire face cord. There was no doubt about it. 4 foot by 4 foot, 2 rows wide. That was a face cord. This is a 275 gallon IBC. Now you see how much taller I had to stack this up to get a third of a cord in there. Alright, I got the modified version and the original version side by side. You can fit a little more than a third inside the modified version. Now, my own point of view is the modified version, I'll be able to get more than a third, a little more firewood stored in the same footprint. It just, I guess it just depends on personal preference from that point. All right, just to be certain and show you again the difference with this other wood, we removed all the third of the cord we had in the 275. That was rounded over to the modified 275 to 330. And as before with the other wood I took to my mom, you can see with the back row level full, wood thrown in the middle, we still got room for more. So you see that right there? That is a third of a cord in what is essentially a 330 gallon IBC. Well friends, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I did get me a couple of the totes filled up and set in place out here in this area. There's the big 330 size. Here's the two smaller size, the 275 size. See how I got them laid out with their lids secure. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you got something out of it. And if I didn't say so earlier in the video, let me know in the comment section what you think about this idea. And anyway, I think, you know, I did stack these. I did these off camera, but I did stack this pretty high up underneath here, so there is more than a third of a cord in there. But just a neat way to store and move your firewood around. But anyway, I won't talk any longer. I appreciate you for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.